Hi guys. There's a couple of little things. Just then, Jackie Felgate, the wonderful Jackie Felgate, was talking to Nick Reese, and I just cut in on the conversation, but you could hear that little bit. She was talking about, among other things, CCTV and the security, and no doubt, like, Nick Reese has been over there in China, you know. Turn it up, Nick Reese. You lost me when you went over to China with Daniel Andrews right about the same time, forming the oligarchy, literally. How disgusting. Anyway, so in that, they were talking about CCTV, and Jackie Felgate talks about, oh, you know, look, at the end of the day, if AI is going to help catch, like these youth criminals, well, that's a good thing, right? Great, in theory. The problem is, and it's a huge problem, is look at the caliber of people. We can't get decent staff. We haven't got good management. So what we've had in Victoria, literally, no BS, we've had the likes, the highest ranking, the papases of Victoria are aware of it. That AI technology was being misused through phone hacks. So they were combining in Victoria surveillance techniques, phone hacks, IMEI, which is an identifier of your mobile phone, hacks that the police have, like that. They were combining that technology with AI facial recognition technology and chatbot technology, and cooking people, doing their heads in. And that's what was directly behind the Burke Street Mall. And there's no conspiracies, oh, was there? You know, that is literally the type of abuse of power that was going on. When I was on the Melbourne drug court order, under the watchful eye of Pappas, her warranted orders, I'd be walking into the Melbourne drug court and I could hear them through the CCTV, like, and it's in a disgusting way. Like, it's done it very quietly, like just you know, like just trying to replicate schizophrenia, trying to replicate the voices in your head. It is the most disgusting abuse of power that this country has possibly ever seen. But when you're aware of what it has been responsible for, it is disturbing at the highest magnitude. That is why we can't have, you know, these technologies, because we've got nobody that can manage them. We've had the same type of technology being used in the Victorian prison system to literally mentally torture inmates. Literally, through each cell has what's called a stenophone, or a stentophone, I think is the technical term. It's an intercom system. It was designed so, you know, for inmate safety. It's a duty of care type of thing. And that grew into, with the level of mismanaged and incompetence that exists in our Victorian government departments these days, that led to literally, and I mean literally, peanuts, mismanaged morons, the type of people that could have prevented a prison riot in 2015 but didn't. Just scumbags. People who are playing... No, the type of people that will run a $1.1 billion prison completely empty of inmates and zero inmates for nearly 3 years while fully staffed. That level of management led to that same technology that they were talking about on the Jackie Felgate show on 3AW to be misused to torture inmates. So you've got AI bot technology literally 24/7 doing the heads in of the inmates. They even had the same AI literally at the MRC. They had a combination of AI, you know how you can get voice synthesizer technology? So they were combining that with the fact that they've got impressions of every inmate's voice impression from the phone system, and that, just like the tax department and other areas of the government, they've got snippets of all the inmates' voices. Well, these mismanaged peanuts, this rabble at Corrections Victoria, were using voice synthesizer technology combined with the snippets from the phone to play games with the inmates. Playing games, getting people to punch on. It was disgusting, utterly disgusting. But you can't tell anybody about it. You try and explain it to people, oh, nah, you know. Believe me, it's happening. It is, and now people are aware of it now, but when it was first happening, people weren't aware of it. People were like, no, they couldn't do that, could they? I'm telling you, they're doing it. And it's disgusting. I mean, we used to see people like, you could hear them, and you'd hear, like, looking back, knowing what I know now, I'd hear like jailhouse snitches and prison officers like having a little smirk and whatnot, and I'd sort of be trying to wonder what that's going on about. And then I'm talking in regards to a fight in a cell, and, you know, the jailhouse snitches being sarcastic, like, because the guy was going, you said this, I heard you, you said that. And the guy's going, I didn't say anything, bro, I didn't say anything. You said this. And what it turned out to be prison officers with voice synthesizer technology playing with people. Literally playing with people, meth heads, who probably have heard voices in their life, but the last thing they need is to get locked up and have some mismanaged moron of a prison officer messing around with voice synthesizer technology and doing their heads in. And that's exactly what was happening in Metropolitan Remand Centre. It probably still is to this day. I'd be very, very surprised if George Moroggy hasn't got a, like the light, you know, people like George Moroggy, definitely Pusey. We all saw it with our own eyes. They were literally sleep depriving him. But they were doing that the old-fashioned way. They were just driving around and flashing like the spotlights on their car through his window. Shh, boom, shh, disgusting people. So that's why we can't have this AI tech. That's why. Because people in these positions can't be trusted. And to add to it, the likes of IBAC, the Ombudsman, the only people you can complain to about this level of corruption and abuse of power, they're part of the gang. They're literally policing themselves. So in my case, I was actually just dragged into, I got exposed to it because I was asked to be a witness in a criminal matter against a prison officer. And what ended up happening was, when I spoke to IBAC once, I said, oh, look, this is exactly what happened. I said, I'd just been finished getting called a dog by prison officers because I even got interviewed. So then when IBAC were ringing me in the prison, I said, no, I'm in the middle of this is exactly what happened. I said, oh, I'm in the middle of the prison, you know. The prison officers won't be exactly happy, you know. And they assured me, I kid you not, they assured me, oh, look, it's just it's completely confidential. Nobody will know anything. Just go through the motions. All these ones. It turned into a decade-plus campaign of harassment, of using drug-addicted women to get at me. Just literally the most disgusting of disgusting things you could imagine. And that's happening in Victoria today. You can't challenge it. So all this corruption and abuses of power exists, but the body they police themselves, put it that way. And which you might think, oh yeah, you know, big deal, who cares if it's a thief or a drug? They're not using it on the organised criminals. They're not using it on, you know, they're just using it on like low-level meth heads until they're doing things like driving down the Burke Street Mall. They're just abusing power in the most disgusting of mismanaged, disgusting ways. It's absolutely disgusting. And then you can't challenge it because it's all set up, really set up properly, since like that 2007 OPI investigation that they didn't allow to run. Then Daniel Andrews came in, he saw exactly what was what and put in IBAC, which is set up to protect them. Very, very dangerous. And when you're setting records in crime stats, budget blowouts, like $200 billion deficits, it's all directly related to the same mismanagement. They think they're not touchable. Untouchable. What can they do? Nobody can question us anyway. Who cares, even if we, ignore the media, or what's people going to do? Nothing. It's disgusting.